Kimon is a master of packing. He will put in Tetris, basically.
Yeah.
Shows that he has a very bitter mind.
Yeah.
For me, it's like, yeah, whatever.
Throw it all in. Yeah.
Hello, welcome to another Facebook Insta Live with us. My name is Zia and...
My name is Kimona.
And today we're still in Australia, actually the last Sunday.
Yeah, about to fly to Bali. We start our month-long 200-hour event in Bali in Ubud soon.
So today's topic, we are going to talk about the 7 tips of drinking water from Ayurveda that many are not known. Is there any importance why drinking style or the art of drinking itself, how we drink, is even more important than the quality of the water itself?
I wouldn't necessarily say more important than the quality of the water, yet I would say it's equally too important. It's part of the process, is the way in which we drink. Because in Ayurveda, they have a saying, it's not you are what you eat, it's you are what you digest. It's what you can actually get into your body, comfortably digest and absorb. And I like to use an analogy to understand this, where we have builders and we have building materials. So we're trying to build a house, and the two things involved in that are builders and building materials. What's more important, the building materials or the builders? Well, both of them are important in building the house, yet the builders play a fundamental role, because if you have the best quality marble and you have builders that are not so good, they're still going to chop it wrong and you'll have gaps in your kitchen. You get this amazing teak wood for the inside of the roof, but they don't put the roof on perfectly, and water comes through and rots apart the beams, and your amazing teak wood is gone as well. This is the same within the way in which we drink water. The functional guiding forces of the body are like the builders. There is what? Cutting and refining and putting the right foods in the right places. It's what Ayurveda refers to as Agni, your digestive and transformative force. And the way in which we drink has a strong influence on how our Agni works, how our function works, how the builders of our body are building the machine.
So the water itself is not just affecting just the water part of our body, but actually plays another role that also, affecting another part of the
It's
body.
affecting our metabolism, yeah. Our ability to secrete enzymes, our immune system function, these are all related to Agni.
We have the 7 tips. The first one, you ready?
Yeah.
The first one is to have, can you do a drum roll? I like that thing.
Oh, you like the drum roll. Okay. The first of the 7 tips is
calm mind. Surprise! The calmness always pop up in everything about health. Can you explain more what's the correlation between having a calm mind or calmness with the water itself? Do you mean like drinking, while you drink you need to be calm?
Yeah, so what we're looking at here is that the priority of the body's nervous system is hugely influential for how we digest life. And if we're drinking large amounts of liquid while our nervous system is a bit scattered, then we're more likely to not digest it so well, because our circulation is away from the digestive tract. Our ability to filter, digest, and go, oh, that needs to go to the kidneys, and this needs to leave the body, and that can stay in the colon, is all not working so well when our nervous system energy is disturbed. So the calmer the mind is, the better we'll be able to absorb and utilize that fluid. It means we won't need to drink huge amounts over the day, which isn't always a great thing. We can actually get more out of a smaller amount of fluid when we're in a calmer, restful state of mind. So there's a few ways we can do that.
Yeah.
When it comes to a mealtime, the simplest one is 3 deep belly breaths. So just by breathing into the belly, we calm the nervous system down. And when we calm the nervous system, we make it much easier to digest foods, much easier for the mind to be focused on what that activity is that we're engaging in. So 3 deep belly breaths calms the nervous system right down.
Yeah.
Another one we can work with is gratitude. So to be grateful for something in your life, to be grateful for many things, I hope, in your life, helps the nervous system to go, oh, it's okay. There's things that are balanced in my environment. The more the nervous system feels comfortable and balanced, the more it will be able to go, oh, now I can focus on the food and how to work with this water best.
These are great tips. Calm mind when you drink, because if you're in, chaotic, there's something wrong in this world, there's no water, you know that it's not about how much water you drink, but how much,
How you utilize the water,
True.
that's right. If it gets down to apocalyptic rations of water, then keep your mind calm while you sip the tiny amount of water you have.
This too shall pass. I just drink tiny sips now. Okay, so that's the first tip on drinking water.
On drinking water.
And then the second tip, can you please do the drum roll?
Drum roll again.
Is to sips over the day. So instead of, is this saying of like, the common beliefs of like you need to drink 8 glass of water, not 8 glass? Or was it 2 liters, 1.5? Whatever.
Yeah, 2 liters of water is the most common. Some people say 8 glasses, which is about the same as 2 liters of water.
So instead of like drinking it, so many of it, like once every like in the morning, wake up and drink 8 glass, or I don't know. So the ideal from Ayurvedic perspective is to actually have sips over the day.
That we don't flood the body with water at one stage, that we give it a regular input of water over the day. And there's a few things that I explain to understand this. Imagine if we had a dam, and when we're trying to regulate the use of the dam water that we're using, we're going to put it into the town or something, we only siphon off a little bit that's going to go down to the town, and it can then be used really effectively by the town at that right amount. But then when it comes to excessive rain, all of a sudden we have to turn the overflow pipes on for the dam. And those overflow pipes are now going to flood down and influence the whole town through there. It's much easier when there's a regulated amount of water to be able to go, oh, now I can use it. I can filter it into the digestive system at the right amount. So when we scull a large amount, technically the science of what's happening is we start to dilute a lot of the digestive juices. So hydrochloric acid is designed to digest the proteins in the food. If there's lots of water, then we will pull that down and through towards the stomach. We'll also tend to flush out, just like that overflowing dam, that it flushed down and really cleared the creek out. It can be good to clear things out, but it doesn't necessarily allow the smooth function of things in that flow. It could damage trees along the way. It's the same inside our body. Our body wants regulated amounts of water regularly over the day. The safest period to drink a larger amount of water and flush the body out is first thing in the morning. Away from meal times, drink at least a good glass of water after you've brushed your teeth, scraped your tongue and done all that. Then drink a good amount of fluids, because that's when we want to. At the beginning of the day, flush through, and the rest of the time, small sips over the day.
Why specifically early morning? Like, I know you say flush through, but is there any specific thing that you want to flush through in the morning?
When we've been sleeping at night, we tend to detoxify the most during the night cycle. In Chinese medicine, they call it the liver meridian time, the gallbladder time. It's in the middle of the night period. And then we move those toxins to the places where they can be evacuated in the morning. So it's the time to evacuate the system. It's when your urine will be at its darkest. The most acidic will be the morning. You can flush it through with a larger amount, take those toxins out of the system.
Okay, so before we go to the third tip, there's a little bit distractions, but that's related to the water.
Yeah.
So in Ayurveda, the daily regime, which is called Dinacharya, so there are several things in the morning. When you wake up, you scrape your tongue, and then you drink.
Brush your teeth
first, and then you drink. So you don't drink straight away.
You don't drink straight away, because otherwise some of those toxins that have come up onto the tongue and are in the mouth, you'll drink them straight back down again.
Yeah. If you go to our website, balancelife.id, there is a full article about the importance of scraping your tongue. And then so how you can do it, and then the way to do it, what's the importance, all the benefits is on the article. So wake up, scrape your tongue, not with toothbrush, but with tongue scraper, and then brush your teeth, and then drinking this to flush out the toxin.
Yep.
Another little tip, sideways, but important.
Yeah.
The third tips, is to drink warm water. Hot.
Hot, not necessarily, but just above body temperature. So what happens is that our body is made of pores, just like our skin is pores, these permeable layers that are moving in and out. And whenever it gets cold, those pores shrink and fluids don't move in and out of them as easily. Just as sweat, we can't sweat so well when we're cold, but we can sweat really well when we're hot because the pores are bigger and the body's pushing the fluids out. It's the same inside our digestive tract. Our digestive tract is made with all little pores all along the inside. It's not necessarily big tubes that we're secreting our enzymes through to digest. It's these pores throughout. So if we take something in that's just warmer than the body's temperature, all of those pores open up. And the fluids can be secreted easier through them. If we take something in that's colder than the body's temperature, all of those pores shrink and we won't secrete as much enzymes. It means we won't digest as much. It'll be more expensive. You'll need to eat more of colder nature foods to get the same nutritional effect in the body than you would of a warmer nature food, or vice versa, warm water. Now here we're talking about digestion with warm water, yet we're also talking about that across the whole body. As we warm up the system, we encourage all of the pores to open and all the circulation to flow better. Great for detoxification. If your body's very hot, avoid it in the middle part of the day, especially 10 to 2 heat time, especially if summer and 10 to 2. But the rest of the time throughout the day, warm water will be great for pretty much everyone.
What's the worst case scenario if you drink cold icy water?
The worst case scenario, death. Well, that's why we're looking at the end finale here of what that means. Yeah. In the interim, it's going to create first some imbalance in the digestive fire, inability to secrete the digestive juices as well. This will then create imbalances with what you then digest. Ayurveda refers to those half-digested byproducts as ama. Half-digested, didn't make it all the way to that they wanted to convert. Maybe there wasn't enough hydrochloric acid or not enough of the right enzyme. And then they float throughout the system. They get blocked. They block in the joints, this half-digested, maybe we'll call it gluten for this specific example, and it blocked in the joints, and then it created arthritis, and then you can't use your hand, and then you can't chop anymore, and then death. Eventually all bad health practices will lead to death. We just need to regulate how much and to what potential. Agni is what we're looking at here. When the digestive force gets worse, things don't digest as well, they block the system.
This warm water principle, does it also apply in warm food? The same reason, the importance of
having a food that is warmer. I would say it's even more important because now it's at the time when we're actually eating something where we need lots of enzymes and digestive juices for. So warm food, I would say, is even more important than the warm water.
On the other episode, we will talk about the importance of having a warm stewed breakfast, which is our favorite, is porridge. Just so that, see the connections between the importance of having warm meal and breakfast and food and whatnot. Okay, number 4, tip number 4, which is
Number 4.
limit liquids intake during mealtime. That's a long time.
Limit liquid at meals. Basically, our stomach likes a certain ratio to be able to digest best. So Ayurveda says that it's 2 parts of your hand solid food. So what I could fit into there, solid food, 1 part liquid and 1 part empty space. So I've actually got 4 handfuls that I could fit into my stomach, but we don't want to fill it up. We want to have 2 parts solid food, 1 part liquid, and 1 part empty space. So if we are to drink a glass of water with our meal, there's a good chance we've already upset that ratio because most food that we eat already has liquid in it. The 2 parts solid and the 1 part liquid ideally should be cooked together in the meal, like a porridge or a stew or a soup or rice where the water has been absorbed into the grain. These sorts of things are ideal for digestion. The ratio of liquid is already there. If we are to sip bits of water throughout the meal and the meal is quite dry, let's say a sandwich or something, then that's fine. A little bit of water with the meal is going to make that ratio. Yet most people don't sip little bits of water. Most people drink a whole drink. And it might be a whole beer or a fruit juice or a glass of water, and that tends to dilute the hydrochloric acid in the stomach. The ratio won't be as strong, and then we will half digest those foods, creating more armor, half digested byproducts throughout the system. So we want to be sipping little bits of water, okay, and the worst time to be drinking the big glass is at the end of the meal. So if you know that you're normally thirsty around meals, you forget to drink between meals or something, then drink the glass of water at the beginning of the meal.
Is there should be ideal time space, half an hour?
Depends on the person. For me and my digestive system, I could drink a glass of water, it'll leave the stomach in 5 minutes. So it depends on you. If you have a very slow digestive system, water still should be gone in 15 minutes. Ayurveda says ideally 1 hour before the meal if it's a big glass of water.
Besides this tip of to limit liquid intake during mealtime is good for your health, it's also good for your money. So when you go out to a restaurant, you only need to order food.
Oh, very good.
Very smart. It's like hitting 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah.
Also, that's a really great tips that many people not know about the food portion.
Ratios, yeah.
So 2 parts of your hand.
Your own hands. It's your hands. So my hands are quite big.
Look at this. It's like monster. Anyway, so big.
Yeah. Not a monster. Just a little one. Yeah.
2 parts of 2 parts of what you call that?
Solid food.
Solid food. 1 part of liquid, which probably already included in the food.
Ideally included.
And then 1 is
empty space.
Empty space.
And we need that empty space to be able to move and stir all the ingredients in our stomach.
Because it's what is that? It's what you call this? Peristalsis movement.
Peristaltic. Yeah.
Or that's why if you eat too much, then that's why there's tendency we want to throw up because those things
are pumping.
Yeah.
And as they pump, they might squeeze things in both directions.
Exactly.
That could be part of it. Overeating. Yeah.
That's the 4th. The tip number 4.
Yep.
And number 5 is.
Number 5.
It's of course your individuality. Everything is about Ayurveda is about adapting to your unique needs. Can you explain more what that even means with individuality?
So we'll first start with the Western thing in relation to water of like, oh, it has to be this amount. It's 8 glasses or it's 2 liters or it's 4 liters or whatever their thing is that they say is the amount that we all need. Yet, in fact, we're all individuals in the way in which we process things. So the amount of fluid one person needs is very different to the amount of fluid another person needs. And also, not just with the person, but then it depends on the day. What do you do over the day? How are you changing? What's your action, your metabolism? How are you using your body? You imagine going, oh no, a car only needs 2 liters of petrol each day. But you drive to Sydney or something from Brisbane, it's a 12-hour drive, you're going to need more than 2 liters of petrol on that day. It's the same in the body. We have to be able to listen to the body's needs and regulate based on that. So Ayurveda says drink when thirsty and drink sips of water over the day with this, the body's thirsty, it's time to drink, rather than just flooding it with fluids continually. Now, some people are on the other side of that and they don't get thirsty so easily. So the following tips are going to be ways that they can regulate that. Especially if you've never really been attracted to drinking water and you've generally been a lot into juices, soft drinks, other things. It may be a period of time before you feel thirst coming for water. So take your time with it and use some of the other tips if needs be.
Yeah, one of the things that the perks of having Kimana is he's like my drinking alarm. Simmer, have a drink. Simmer, have a drink. And then one of the tricks also to have it on alarm. To from time to time have an alarm if you're like me to have a tendency to forget to drink because you just whatever. Alarm from time to time to just drink water.
Yeah. When I'm educating people on installing new habits in their life, I'll often use an app called the Mindfulness Bell, and it will just set off a Tibetan singing bell at random times over the day. You can set the times if you want, or you can just have it going off, and it just goes ding in the background.
Just like that.
And then you can go, oh, maybe it's time to drink some water, or, oh, have I thought about my mindset? What am I thinking about now? What is my self-talk? Just use it as a reminder to be more mindful of whatever it is you want to create in your life. So the Mindfulness Bell, great app.
We should get commission from them.
It's all right. We'll give this one for free.
Sorry. Okay, next tips. Number 5, there was about the importance of individuality, tuning into the body.
Yep.
Tip number 6, drum roll please.
Tip number 6.
Is to check your urine color. What's that mean?
So it means the color of your urine that's coming out can tell you quite a bit about the state of the body internally and whether or not the body is hydrated properly. So the darker the urine color, the more that the body is either in heat, getting rid of toxins, or dehydrated. So generally the darker the color, we want to flush the body out with a little bit more water. Now, that could be influenced by B vitamins or other foods or beetroots or things. But as a generalization, the darker the color, the more the body is dehydrated and we need more water for that. If it's the opposite side of that and it's clear all the time, then it's also not so good. And this is something that's not looked at a lot within Western medicine and their understandings of dehydration. Both Ayurveda and Chinese medicine have said if the urine is clear very regularly, then that clear urine means that the body is flushing out a lot of minerals, and it will tend to put the body into deficiency if it's clear all the time. Now that doesn't mean that we shouldn't have it clear at all, but over the whole day having constantly clear urine means that you're drinking more water than what the body needs.
In conclusion about Ayurveda, it's really depends.
You've got to find the right balance point. And these are one of the things. Individuality, check the colour of your urine. When you're peeing, go, oh, what is that? Yeah, oh, is it strong smell?
What if you don't pee at all? Because some people have a tendency not to even...
If you don't pee, then there's definitely problems, and drink more water. We need to get that flowing through.
Cool. So that's tip number 5. 2 more. Drum roll, please.
That was 6.
Oh, that was 6, sorry.
Yeah,
last
6.
one.
Yeah, last one. Here we go.
Is to have a dry lip. That's very obvious. Why don't you just put lip balm?
Lip balm, because from the outside you can moisturize the skin, yet it doesn't affect what's happening internally. So a lot of people are like, oh, I've got dry skin, let's just put some moisturizer on. That's okay as long as you're also listening to the sign inside. So if the lips are dry and cracked, then the body's dehydrating internally. It may not just be fluid, it could also be oils in that case if the skin or the lips are dry. So you might need to look at increasing both of those areas. Does liquid in fruit and veggies count as well? From Cherie Magari. So yes, liquid in fruit and veggies does count as some fluid. It's liquid that's present there, yet we always need some direct water or fluid source that's mainly water throughout the day. If it's liquid within the fruit, it's mainly going to help with the digestion and the ratio of the fruit and give you a small amount of hydration. We still need a liquid source throughout the day as well, besides the water content of fruit. And again, I'm not saying, we need a certain amount of liquid or a certain amount of fruit. What we need, Cherie, is we need to look at how is the body responding to that. So if you're eating that bit of fruit and you're going, yeah, I've still got yellow urine and my lips are dry, then you definitely need to be drinking along the side. Some other days you might be able to have a bit of a fruit juice and something else and you'll be like, oh no, yeah, haven't been exercising too much, it's not so hot, my fluids are doing well today with just that small amount and maybe 1 glass of water.
Yeah.
It really does depend on the person and the day.
It depends.
Yeah.
What's the app of the name with the Tibetan bell? There are so many apps. One of the things that we use is called...
The mindfulness bell. Yeah.
And that's on Android.
Android, it's called the mindfulness bell, and on Apple, it's called.
There's so many. You just Google, even if you Google like mindfulness bell, there will be many apps that will be similar.
Yeah.
But yeah.
The one on Android is great. The mindfulness bell. Yeah.
We're not promoter of Android, but anyhow.
Well, it's free. It's on there. It's good. Yeah.
Lee asks, how about drinking water that has been in the copper vessel?
Yeah, so in Ayurveda, they were really into putting water within copper vessels and drinking water out of those copper vessels. So we'll talk about a few of the advantages, and then we'll talk about some of the disadvantages in our modern times as well. So in an ancient time, bacteria within water sources and parasites was a really important thing, just as much as it is today. And storing your water in copper naturally has an antibacterial effect to it. Copper is antibacterial. So it has a certain electrical relationship with the water that decreases the chance of bacteria, mold, funguses, and other things spreading inside the water. So that just by itself is already a bonus. Then on top of that, Ayurveda believes that copper is what's called a tridoshic metal. It's more assimilable by many different body types. It could be used on the body as jewelry and other things, and more people can handle it. It doesn't have so many extreme qualities going in one direction. It's closer to the neutral zone. So because of that, it had a great electrical property, it kept the bacterial balance down, and the energy that's shared with the water was balancing for most people. In our modern age, though, copper excess has become quite a problem. Inside our body, zinc and copper play a balancing position to each other. They're minerals that really need to work with each other. And we've had a large excess of copper, probably because of modern industry, and copper now becoming in our water supplies and many other things. Many of the piping systems for your house will contain copper pipes as well. So we've probably gotten enough of this copper in our systems. So I probably wouldn't recommend it as a very regular thing, and just check out how much copper you have. Some people have a lot more copper than others. So yes, copper's good, great metal, better than plastic. Yet I wouldn't necessarily say we need to drink out of the copper vessel for everyone.
What's even better than having a water infiltrated copper? No, does that make sense?
Yeah, silver. Yeah, silver is more neutral. It's cooling though, so it's still going to be not as neutral as copper in its heating and cooling sense. It is cooling, then it has great antibacterial properties to it. It's why we used so much silver cutlery in the past. It wasn't just because it was cool and luxurious. There's a reason why they chose silver for cutlery. It has a strong antibacterial effect. It has a fabulous electrical relationship with our body as well. So the energy that it imparts to the water is great. Now all of these things are very expensive ways to store your water. The UltraStream is a water filter that I recommend. It goes through natural layers, sediment layers, to take out the negative things of the water, remineralize and energize it. Now what Lee's talking about is how to make water better rather than just a habit of using it. Yeah.
How do water filters affect the water? I think it really depends on the
it completely depends on the water and the type of water filter that we use. So there's many different types of water filters out there, and we really do want a good quality filter that's going to take out the impurities, and then something that's going to bring back in minerals, energize, make the space between all the molecules further apart. This will mean that they hydrate the body much better. So I would recommend something like the UltraStream. We'll give a link to this at the end. You could use many different types of filters that are taking out the crap. Just make sure there's something that it's putting it back in again. It's re-energizing the water. It's using magnesium adobe beads or tourmaline crystals, or something that imparts energy and minerals to the water stream again.
What about the electric charge?
Electric ionizing machines? Yeah. So the electric ionizers can alkalize, but they don't necessarily impart the same amount of minerals. And this is dependent, every electric ionizer is different. They're still beneficial, they're still alkaline. I would much prefer a sediment layered system that alkalizes. It does it without electricity, and it'll hold its alkaline for longer than if it was a system that was electronically ionized.
Okay. Sweet.
If you're interested in that, I have actually written an ebook on that, Dave.
An ebook about, what's the title of the ebook? I forget.
On Tap Healing.
On Tap Healing.
On Tap Healing.
That's a good name.
Yeah.
The Healing on Tap.
Yeah.
The ebook, you can download it on our website, balancelife.id/free resources, or we put the link at the end. There's an ebook that you can just download, and it goes to like the science behind
water, where you get good water. It evaluates different water filtration systems and says what are their pros and cons based on price and many other things. So you can evaluate your own water system based on that ebook too.
That's everything we're going to share today.
All wrapped up for today. If you'd like to learn or study more with us, then you can come and check out our school, Ayurvedic Yoga, Balanced Life, Kamana.com. I have a month-long training that's happening in Thailand, in Bali, in Ubud, in just a matter of weeks. Thailand in April. And if you'd like to learn more about Ayurveda, to have a greater understanding of your own body, to be able to help others, travel the world, giving this gift to people, then please come along and see our websites to see what we can do for you.
The website for Kimana's school is www.ayurvedicyoga.com. For other type of events, which includes our Ayurvedic Detox Retreat, another little workshops, 1 week trainings, you can go to balancelife.id. And all will be updated there. So this is unfortunately will be our last live sessions because we're gonna, as Kimana mentioned, we will be organizing and teaching this month-long training. So we will come back in 5 weeks time, 6 weeks time. We're going to talk about, actually I don't remember, but stay tuned on our Facebook and Instagram as we always share things there. Although next week, even though we're not gonna doing live session, we are going to still release YouTube videos, and that will be about the 5 healing herbs that you can use every day. Suspense.
5 healing herbs for home use.
For home use that you can use every day.
My highlight 5 herbs. If I was only going to pick 5 herbs, that's what's coming up.
Suspense. We like suspense. Okay, so if you like to learn more, as Kimana mentioned, go to our website. And then there's also more resources that you can get from this On Tap Healing ebook that Kimana made about water and the best for the filter on our website. There's also articles, blog, and videos of these previous classes. All go to balancelife.id. Also, if you subscribe to our newsletter, there you will instantly get a download for an Ayurvedic mind-body type quiz that Kimana made. So just go to our website and submit your email there. Cool. Thank you so much for joining another Insta Live session with me, Zia and Kimana, and hope to catch you again in a couple weeks time.
Great to share with you all.
Bye!
Blessings. Bye.
The bata
Yeah.